Hi, I'm Samantha McDouglas from thebridgeteachers.com. Come look over my shoulder at a play problem. Take a moment, look at the auction. It's always really important to do that before you move into the play or the defense of a hand so that you have that information with you. Our left-hand opponent led the ace of diamonds. Let's take a moment and count losers. We have 0 heart losers. We have all the high hearts. We have 2 spade losers. We're missing the king and the jack. We can't really lose any tricks other than the king and the jack, which is why we count 2, even though we have 4 in our hand. We have 1 club loser, and we would normally count the diamond suit for 3 losers. But in this case, because the ace has been led, this will allow us to make the queen good, and so we can go ahead and count 2 losers. What is your plan for this hand? So my general plan would be to follow suit and diamonds, see what happens, draw trump, and set up the spade suit by taking a spade finesse and trumping leftover spades. So, with no further ado, let's move on. We're going to play the 2 of diamonds. Our right-hand opponent is going to play the 9, and we'll play the 5. Our left-hand opponent continues with the king. We play the jack. Our right-hand opponent played the 10, and now we play the 8. And now, our left-hand opponent played the 7 of diamonds. What are we going to do on this trick? You have 3 options. You can trump. All of your trump are equal, so it doesn't matter which one you trump with. You can play a spade, and you can play a club. I feel that trumping is the superior option here. Playing a spade is a valid option, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, but not too much. Playing a club, not a good choice. Playing a club doesn't help us at all. So let's take a moment and talk about the discards real quick, and then we'll talk about why I want to trump this trick. So when we make a discard, we want to make sure that it's changing the number of losers that we have. And if it's not changing the number of losers that we have, it's at least opening the door for that change. So let's go ahead and look at this. If we pitch a club from dummy here, have we changed the number of club losers we have, or have we changed our ability to get rid of club losers? No. We're setting up the south hand. So we have this club loser in the form of the 6 of clubs. We could pitch 4 clubs from dummy, and it's not going to change anything about our club losers because we still have the 6 of clubs. We're still going to lose that trick. We still have 1 club loser, and we have a bunch of clubs in dummy, so unless we could pitch all 5 of them, we wouldn't be able to do anything about the 6 of clubs. We're still in danger of losing that trick. Now, if we discard the spade, does this change our spade losers? It does. So it doesn't change the number that we have immediately. We still have 2 losers, the king and the jack, because we're setting up the south hand and we still have 4 spades there. But what it does do is it now opens the door for us to trump those 3 spades, because now we have a singleton spade in dummy. And when we win this trick with the queen of diamonds, we just play the ace of spades and we can trump our 3 spades. So this helps us avoid taking the spade finesse and at least is doing something for us. There are a couple of problems with this line of play. The first problem is that in order to trump 3 spades, we would have to be able to navigate back to our hand several times, which is a little bit difficult. You might say, well, we could trump clubs, and that's true, but the problem is that we have to lose a club. And if the opponents lead trump, they can cut down on how many spades we can trump. Also, if we attempt to trump all 3 spades, we're going to be doing so without having drawn trump, because the best split that we could have in hearts would be 2-2, which would leave us with only 2 trump in dummy, and that would leave us with one of our spades not being trumped. This is a valid line of play, and there are a lot of things that could work out well for you. There are some problems with this line of play. The opponent's leading trump, a bad split in clubs, allowing West to over-trump you. All these things can go wrong with this line of play, so that is why it is not my favorite line of play on this hand, but it is a valid line of play, unlike discarding a club, which has no value at all whatsoever. So if we go back to my favorite line of play, which is trumping the diamond. I know you're looking at me, you're going, but Sam, the queen of diamonds is good. Why are we trumping it? Because there's no guarantee that East has a diamond. If East doesn't have a diamond, they're going to trump this trick. And now we're going to lose to a little trump when we don't have to. So we could pitch the spade. The problem with pitching the spade is, again, it doesn't immediately get rid of a loser for you. You still have 4 spades in your hand. And now what you sort of committed to is trumping the 3 spades. And as we said, there are problems with that line of play. Here, I'm guaranteeing that I'm winning this trick. I can draw trump, I can take my spade finesse, and I can make the hand. As long as one of the 2 spade finesses is working, I should be able to make this hand. I will lose 2 diamonds, 1 club, and at worst, 1 spade. Just because the queen of diamonds is good, it shouldn't stop you from trumping the trick. Yeah, the queen of diamonds is good, but if East doesn't have any diamonds, I'm going to lose the trick. And I'm going to lose the trick to a little trump I shouldn't be losing the trick to. On top of that, the queen of diamonds isn't a particularly useful card to me. It would be one thing if I had something really cool I could do with the queen of diamonds. If the queen of diamonds could in some way help me reduce my losers. But pitching a spade, that's not necessarily the best line of play here. It's not the highest percentage of play in my opinion. Trumping is. What happened on this hand was the person who played it discarded the 2 of clubs. Our right-hand opponent trumped. And now we didn't even get to take a trick with our queen of diamonds anyway. Now instead of making 4, the declarer only made 3 because our right-hand opponent cashed the ace of clubs. When you're in a scenario like this, I want you to really think it through. I want you to be aware, first of all, that East may not have any more diamonds. So yes, the queen of diamonds is good, but if East doesn't have any more diamonds, we're not going to be taking that trick. The other thing I really want you thinking about is, what good is the queen of diamonds? If you're not planning on trying to set up a cross ruff with this hand, then the queen of diamonds isn't doing you any good. And trumping it is safer because now we guarantee we don't lose that trick. Ultimately, on this hand, our best option is to draw trump and take the spade finesse, and potentially, if we can't make all the spades good, trump the remaining spades. Lastly, I want you really thinking about, if you're going to discard, what is more useful. In a trump contract, discarding is one of our best tools. So you want to make sure you are always maximizing this tool. Discarding a club doesn't help you at all. Discarding a spade does open the door to an alternate line of play, which is trumping the spades and trying to cross-ruff the hand instead of taking the spade finesse. This is a reasonable line of play. On this particular hand, I think I would trump high and just take the spade finesse. Either of those lines of play is valid. What I want from you is thinking through what you're going to do with this queen of diamonds. Understanding, East may be out. You might be losing this trick. And if you choose to not trump, making sure that you're discarding something that's useful to you. Thank you.